Is MAGA architecture a thing? Yes, and it's got columns. This is FC Explains. In August 2025, President Trump issued an executive order. It had nothing to do with the usual issues like foreign policy, crime, or the economy. This one was about buildings. It required that the preferred style for American federal buildings and U.S. courthouses should be, quote, traditional and classical. But this story is about more than a few columns and pediments. It's about a debate over design that's dividing American architects and becoming a political flashpoint. But let's start at the beginning. Classical architecture is a historical style with roots in ancient Greece and the Roman Empire. Think of buildings like the Capitol, Supreme Court, and the White House. Newer federal buildings, however, have been designed in a modernist style. Picture the J. Edgar Hoover Building, the Department of Housing and Urban Development headquarters, and the San Francisco Federal Building. Some advocates, and one man in particular, are not big fans of the newer buildings. Justin Schubo runs the National Civic Art Society. It's a small nonprofit based in DC made of architects, urban planners, historians, philosophers, and critics who advocate for a return to classical building design. As its leader, Schubo has been telling anyone who will listen that the architecture of American democracy has been subverted for the past 75 years by an elite aesthetic that the public supposedly hates. He's an interesting guy who isn't afraid of a debate. During an interview, he told me he's been focused on buildings for his whole life, and even has memories of hating a brutalist public library as a child. But he didn't grow up to be a designer or an architect. Instead, he earned a master's degree in philosophy and a law degree from Yale. Since he joined the NCAS, the organization has seen its annual budget and contributions steadily increase, along with his salary. We don't know who all its contributors are, but at least one of the group's board members is a billionaire who gave more than $10 million to the Trump campaign in 2024. This summer, I spoke with Schubo for more than an hour about modernist architecture becoming the de facto standard for new federal buildings, and why he thinks it's a horrible idea. To him, the government should take a cue from the founding fathers and pursue a style more people associate with democracy. But for a lot of architects, innovative design doesn't involve creating new buildings that look like they were designed thousands of years ago. The American Institute of Architects is especially unimpressed. The organization publicly opposed the executive order, warning that the new directive would replace a thoughtful design process with rigid requirements, and that going back to the past ignores a natural evolution of style and design that's needed to create buildings that actually serve modern communities. Previous administrations have been on their side. In the 1960s, the federal government started building modernist structures and later created the Design Excellence Program, which set standards for federal buildings. In that framework, a key guiding principle is avoiding the development of an official style, and that design must flow from the architectural profession to the government and not vice versa. By the time we're making this video, the pages that used to show the full text of these policies on the U.S. General Services Administration website are blank. In the later half of the 20th century, a specific type of modernism, called Brutalism, became popular. Thanks to advances in structural engineering, concrete-based buildings could be built bigger and taller than ever before. Post-war architects loved the flexibility of working with this medium, which was cheaper than steel or stone. While this era, sometimes called the golden age for modernist design, produced well-loved and award-winning buildings, critics say the style can be cold, sterile, and in certain contexts, Soviet. Schubo is one of them, and often presents slideshows featuring brutalist design. In 2019, he showed one to members of Trump's Domestic Policy Council. Even though the president's former real estate ventures involved at least one instance of converting a classically inspired building into a modern glass one, Schubo's argument was enough to convince the team to make old architecture part of its new agenda. When Trump first issued an executive order on this topic in 2020, the response was heated and his team was interested. One source told me that this reaction is a big reason why they continued to pursue the issue. I should mention here that the White House did not respond to multiple interview requests for this story. Today, the president continues to embrace buildings as cultural flashpoints. The administration is working on a campaign promise to take the FBI headquarters out of the iconic Hoover Building. In July 2025, the White House paved over the Rose Garden and announced plans to build a 90,000 square foot neoclassical ballroom. The latest executive order may not survive the current administration, but could end up influencing the designs of a handful of courthouses and annex buildings that are slated for construction in the next few years. For now, it seems like the classical fans are getting what they want, but it could come at a cost. Rather than cementing classical buildings as the architecture of democracy, this initiative could end up forever aligning this style as yet another signifier of the president's divisive MAGA movement.